My uncle was slapped on the cheek when he peeked into an open room. Many years ago, my uncle traveled to the USA from a village in America. When he got to America, Fort Worth, Texas to be exact, he moved in with an elder cousin and her husband. Soon he became aware that they had a spiritual background. They were strong practitioners of some type of spirituality. At first, he was unsure what religion they practiced, but as time passed, he realized that he didn't really understand what exactly they were into. All he knew was that they were deep into something. In the house he was staying was fairly large house, as Texas has pretty large houses. He could go into any room, but there was one room that he was never invited to. That door always stayed closed. So, one day he noticed that the room door was left ajar. Hmm. By this time, he had found out that the cousin and her husband, that they were Masons. The ones that come from that secret practice, whether it's spiritual or not, no one really knows. But it is said that it's a secret practice and that they cannot tell you what the secrets are unless you are taken to be initiated. Unlike Christianity or other religions, when you ask what the religion is about, they'll freely tell you, you know, what it's about, who they are serving, and all this stuff. But with Masons, it is said that they cannot tell you. If they tell you, you are going to be joining that organization. It's more of an organization than a spiritual practice. Back to the door. So this day, my uncle noticed he was home alone, and somehow the secret door was ajar. He tried to ignore the fact that the door was ajar, but curiosity, they say, killed the cat. Eventually, he did what most people would have done, and he stuck his head inside the door. He was disappointed because there was not much to be seen inside the room. Some artifacts, statues, and not much else. Seemed like a regular old room. So he was actually quite disappointed when he pulled his head from out of that room he should never have looked into. Later on, the couple came home and they carried on as usual. That night, after he had gone to his bed and fallen into sleep, he was awakened by a stinging slap to his left cheek. In shock, he jumped out of bed, but just in time to see the image of a small, dark thing dash under the bed. He got up and looked under the bed because he wanted to know what had slapped him, and he knew he was slapped because he could feel the heat radiating from his left cheek as well as the stinging pain that made tears come to his eyes and the ringing to that left ear. Under the bed, there was nothing to be seen. The door was not open, there was no one else present. He was alone in that room. So, what could have slapped him so hard that tears came to his eyes? Perturbed, he could not go back to sleep. So he spent the night hours tossing and turning until daylight appeared on the horizon. At breakfast, no one was saying anything. It was a regular day. Him being a grown man, he could not exactly say, "Well, I peeked into your locked room And I received the slap of my life last night, so he stayed quiet. To this day, he wonders what could have slapped him on his cheek. Though this is not the first time he received a slap on the cheek, he did receive another slap on that same left cheek in the past, but that's a story for another day. So tell me, what do you think slapped him? Was it he didn't see anything, so there was no one else in the room. No one came out of the room, no one came in. What slapped him? Was he slapped because he peeked into a room that was none of his business? What do you think? He didn't get a slap because he felt the imprint, the heat of that slap, the ringing in that left ear, and his eyes teared up. So he was slapped. He just didn't see what slapped him. And he learned a valuable lesson. Do not look and do not go where you are not invited. Thank you for listening.